Martin Stapleton professing tremendous respect for his 21-year-old opponent, Goiti Yamauchi. Stapleton said, creativity is the key to my victory. I've got to keep mixing things up and make him guess. Round number one. Immediately to the top position we go. Rubber guard from Goiti Yamauchi.
Straight to the omoplata. Look for him to crank that shoulder and sit up. Wow, he might get it. He might get it fast. So rare in MMA, the omoplata. Hard to finish in jiu-jitsu, let alone in MMA. He's putting a lot of pressure on that shoulder. You see Stapleton burying his right hand underneath the thigh to kind of prevent the crank on the shoulder. That won't last if Yamauchi can really sit his hips out.
Stapleton, the Englishman in submission danger, is in the blue trunks. Yamauchi, the Brazilian, is in the black trunks. Yamauchi told us, Jimmy, without a hint of arrogance, almost stating a fact, if I can get him to the ground, I will submit Stapleton quickly.
It's a good start here with the omoplata. He's got to sit his hips out, get his hips away from Stapleton. You see Stapleton grabbing onto the heel and keeping him close. That's keeping him from scooting out and putting more pressure on the shoulder. Very important right now for Stapleton.
You see Stapleton sucking in the ankle, to your point, Jimmy, trying to keep his opponent close.
Now Stapleton sits back. There's a triangle transition here that he could go for. Saw him catch a rear naked choke here. Oh, now he's got it. Turns it into a sweep.
Yamauchi, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, showing his skills on the ground. Now locking on the body triangle to back mount. How's that for a transition?
As soon as he got that omoplata, Stapleton had no choice but to roll forward to relieve the pressure.
Back elbow from Stapleton. Yamauchi, though, thinking rear naked choke to finish.
The whole glove, fighter. Just grab your inside.
Jason Herzog telling Stapleton, you've got to grab the full gloves. You can't just grab the fingers. Now trying to punch his way out of this. You see it's under the bottom lip, not fully locked on, is Yamauchi's rear naked choke.
Yamauchi choosing not to spend a lot of energy on it. That's a smart move. One thing Stapleton really talked about was the maturity of Yamauchi. He doesn't see him as a kid. He sees him as an experienced fighter just like himself.
Stapleton, 10 years older at age 31, facing a lot of adversity in this fight. Tight with the body triangle and trying to crank on the rear naked choke to finish is Goiti Yamauchi. 1:45 remaining in our opening round. All Yamauchi thus far.
Coach is yelling 90 seconds. Stapleton right now is just thinking, get out of the round.
Yamauchi just acknowledged his corner.
They're talking about the head and arm switch here. He switches to mount, he's in head and arm position. He loses it, stays on top.
Half guard held by Stapleton.
His style of jiu-jitsu, Goiti Yamauchi, is so flexible. It's very hard to prepare for a style like that.
Flexible and fluid.
Flexible and fluid. It's hard to train for that, even if you have high-level guys in your gym.
Yamauchi tried to move to north-south, and just like that, takes the back, one hook in. Back in the body triangle position, although he doesn't have it locked on, but you see controlling with the legs as Goiti Yamauchi. There's the body triangle. With the hook in for good measure. Again, back to the rear naked choke.
Stapleton has done a good job protecting, and now a lot of crank on the back.
On the jawline, but absolutely, Jimmy, a lot of crank. Look at the squeeze from Yamauchi. And there's the tap.
Right,
Goiti Yamauchi just keeps on rolling.
never in danger, always in good position, hunted for the submission until he got it.
All right, gentlemen, first round. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Head up, let's go.
The belt and round one, Yamauchi in the red gloves, Gonzalez in the blue. Yamauchi taking an L in his last fight, a fight against Dan Moret, which most observers thought Yamauchi won. He says he doesn't want to leave it in the judges' hands again after last time, and instead of his hands, Gonzalez going to the kick route.
Gonzalez has got good stand-up now. All that training at Team Alpha Male. He's becoming very comfortable in the stand-up with Danny Castillo and all the guys teaching him. He's always got that wrestling that he can fall back on.
Yeah, began wrestling as a freshman in high school, a 6-time Greco-Roman All-American, and a 2016 Greco-Roman World Team member, but putting his striking on display early as Yamauchi goes upstairs with a kick, and there's an outside leg kick by Gonzalez. And really, thus far in his career, Gonzalez has showcased his elite wrestling along with brutal ground and pound striking. Question is, do you want to go to the ground against the guy with the most submissions in Bellator MMA history, and a guy with 20 submissions out of his 25 wins?
Nice hard kick to the body by Goiti. You're right, it is the question, but in talking with Chris, he says, look, I go to the ground with Chris Holsworth all the time. He's a great black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's right, but everybody's style is different. When you start to get used to someone, you kind of get that edge on how to stop what they do. Goiti is the guy that everyone thinks that they can handle on the ground. All of a sudden they're down there and then they're tapping out, so he needs to be careful.
Both fighters mixing it up in the offensive department, a blend of punches and kicks as Yamauchi goes upstairs again, but kicked the arm of the shoulder of Gonzalez. But Yamauchi putting the pressure on Gonzalez. Inside leg kick, and
as you're watching, take a look at those
jumping knee by Yamauchi.
Take a look at those kicks and look at the way they're landing. One's landing with a lot more power than the other right now. Yamauchi's got a lot more on his kicks than Chris does.
And Gonzalez, though, scoring upstairs, including that nice 1-2 combination.
Nice movement, nice head movement by Chris. That's a nice kick to the body.
And for two guys that are noted for their ground game, the wrestling of Gonzalez as Yamauchi stopped that takedown attempt in the submission game of Yamauchi. We're seeing some high-level striking here in the first round.
Oh, absolutely. Look, Yamauchi.
Nice lead left uppercut by Yamauchi, lighting up Gonzalez, and Gonzalez returns fire.
Most of the time, what happens, you do not see Goiti Yamauchi going for takedowns. What normally happens is he starts to do well in the stand-up, and all of a sudden guys decide, I'm going to take him down. That leads them from...
And then he takes their backs and gets 13 rear naked chokes on his resume. But boy, these two are going back and forth. Counter right hook by Gonzalez from the southpaw stance using lateral movement. Yamauchi with a 3-punch combination culminating with a left hook behind the guard. Oh, right uppercut by Yamauchi.
Yamauchi's landing with the more power right now. Both guys are touching, but Yamauchi's the one that's actually getting off the better shots.
And the uppercut has provided myriad highlight reel knockouts in boxing. Speaking of highlight reel KOs, down goes Gonzalez. Yamauchi's all over him, and Yamauchi picks up just his second victory via form of knockout.
Goiti Yamauchi, 20 of his 26 wins have been via submission. He's looking to put the choke in Levon's last name. He's got 14 submission wins via form of choke. Chokheli would like to avoid that fate. Thank you very much. And he comes in at 10-1, an intriguing matchup as Yamauchi moves up to 170 for the first time.
It is an intriguing matchup. Goiti Yamauchi uses a very karate-centric stance, but he doesn't have the wrestling that you would think where he tries to really take guys down. He gets it to where guys take him down all the time, and he wants them to, and he gets the submission off him, and you look, you go, why are you taking this guy down? Here we go with Goiti actually shooting in. He said he's been working on his wrestling. He's going to make it to where he's the one deciding when the fight hits the ground. We'll see if he can make it happen here.
Yamauchi, Bellator MMA submission king with 8. He's 12-4 in the Bellator MMA cage. Chokheli 1-1, struggling to stay on his feet and is taking a seat courtesy of Yamauchi. 1 minute gone in the first. And Yamauchi saying, you know, he was forced to move up in weight and feeling that, yeah, it's the best thing that's happened, even though, again, had success at lightweight in terms of what went on in the cage, but a lot of issues making weight.
A lot of issues making weight, and some of the success was he was getting burned by losing so much weight. It was not healthy for him. It was not good with his performances. He needed to move up. This is a good thing for him.
Yamauchi pops his head out, open guard of Chokheli.
And this is not a good thing for Chokheli, having Yamauchi on top.
Yeah, Chokheli known for his striking. 9 of his 10 wins via knockout. Has never been the recipient of a submission win, and of course with the one loss that came against Kyle Crutchmer at Bellator 260 via unanimous decision, so he's never been stopped. Under 3 minutes left in the first round. Yamauchi working from top position.
Yamauchi is a dynamic submission fighter, a guy that can pull off any submission you can think of inside of the cage. His setups are beautiful. He is a terror from the top position. So Chokheli needs to be very careful. You can understand why Chokheli is keeping that closed guard most of the time. That's to try to control where Yamauchi is able to go. Beautiful
Side
pass.
control for Yamauchi along the fence, and now double wrist lock will be.
And Mauro, you saw how easily he did that.
Seamless.
That's just the difference. And there's technique, the style. He set up for the Kimura here. He's going to try to bring the leg over the head. Once he isolates that head right here with the leg, now he's able to take and bring this arm out. Chokheli's in serious trouble right now.
And he does have 5 armbar submissions. Chokheli trying to defend against this submission attempt by Bellator MMA submission king. And forced to go back to the closed guard is Yamauchi. And now from this position, again, you go for a submission, you put yourself on a position, but Yamauchi using the fence effectively.
Well, the fence actually hurt him in the armbar attempt because he wasn't able to
Or trying to escape here,
it.
I meant, the scramble.
Yep, you're right there. He's trying to use it. You see, he can push off of it. He can put his hand on it. He can put his foot on it. He just can't
And there
grab.
he is again. Trying
Right back to
desperately,
the arm.
rolling right back to the arm, and stacking him up is Chokheli. Chokheli not wanting to lean back too far, and now it's better position. There's the tap, and the submission king adds another tap out to his impressive resume as Goiti Yamauchi in his welterweight debut submits Levon Chokheli.
Round, fighter, you ready? Fighter, you ready? Let's fight!
First time in Europe for Goiti Yamauchi.
Against Isao Kobayashi, he was willing to test his stand-up out. Looks like he's willing to do that tonight. His chin very, very high. Nice right hand.
So happy to be done with the weight cut down to 145.
Oh, did that catch him?
It did. And Goiti in big trouble.
He went out for a second.
Trying to get his bearings, trying to get a hold of Machea.
That was a great non-stoppage by Jason Herzog. He went out for a second, but he came back in time. Now he's trying to isolate the right arm. He might have it. It's close. And he slams his way out. And he's still in big trouble. Going after it again.
Goiti Yamauchi on instinct right here. Machea again trying to slam his way out.
But as long as he's going for submissions, he's not getting punched. And he needs a moment to clear his head. Make no mistake, he got rocked.
And now Machea, inexperienced, just a year and a half in the game, trying to get through with the hammer fist. try to fight smart. Try not to walk into the trap that Goiti Yamauchi wants to set for him.
Here's where aggression might work against Goiti Yamauchi just a little bit. And that he needs to lock down like this. Get his bearings back. He's always trying to isolate the arm. And every time Merca pops out of the armbar, he can punch him. You might want to lock him up here. Use a little bit of time before going for a submission. You know, clear his head just a little bit more. It looks like that's what he's doing.
You wonder sometimes, what can a heavy favorite learn? Well, now you get the opportunity for Goiti Yamauchi to take a big step forward and get that first big come from behind win, because he was in major trouble. This was 2 or 3 seconds from getting stopped.
Guess what he learned? Everybody's dangerous. Nice sweep. Coming out the back door.
Isolates the arm.
Yeah, but he can't do that until he passes the guard. Exactly. He's in a position where he can land some ground and pound, get his senses back, because Merca hurt him more than once.
This is what we just won't know until later. How in this fight right now is Goiti Yamauchi?
He's in inverted heel hook position. He sits back for it. That would be dangerous. He was on the bottom. Nice guard pass. Those are the 2 options. He goes back to half guard. Rare mistake for him.
You gotta think, Goiti Yamauchi in his normal state, without his bell having been rung several times, is able to pass and stay there.
I'm reminded of Georgie Karhani and Pat Kern. You know, Georgie texted me after that fight. He goes, Jimmy, I don't remember anything about that fight.
Another pass attempt. And he slides in a full mount.
Beautiful transition. And Merca's going to kick off that fence.
Not only could he win back this round, he can win this fight here.
Big elbows. Merca doing everything he can right into the triangle.
He walked right into it, tried to strip his way out.
He's got to pull the arm across. Got it! Wow, did it without the arm across. That is tough to do.
A spectacular come from behind win for Goiti Yamauchi.
Gentlemen, are you ready? You ready? Let's fight.
Fight Clock brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers, it's Miller time. The 9-0 Piccolotti in the red gloves. Goiti Yamauchi, 21-3 in the blue gloves.
This might tell the tale of the fight, the stand-up. Both guys tricky on the ground, black belt skills. Who has the edge with the kickboxing? Neither one has had to use it that much in their careers. Nice kick.
Yamauchi bringing the fight to Piccolotti.
Guillotine. How hard is he going to go for it?
17 of Yamauchi's victories have been via submission.
Doesn't look like he's really cranking for it right now. Walking his legs up.
And out of those 17, he's looking for his first via guillotine choke. He has 11 rear naked choke submissions.
Also look for the triangle transition here. If he walks over the arm, he can also transition to the triangle.
Yamauchi does have 1 triangle choke submission, but Piccolotti trying to defend the submission attempt early in round 1.
He's locking up, going underneath the arm. Going for a modified guillotine, almost an anaconda from here. Pops out.
And of course,
going omoplata right away.
Enjoying San Jose very much as a fighter. Undefeated in his career, numerous appearances in the city, and now defending the submission attempt of Yamauchi here in round 1.
That's the thing that makes Yamauchi so hard to train for, is his jiu-jitsu. Not only is it world-class level, it's very unorthodox, very flexible, goes for a lot of different techniques at once. Almost an X-guard sweep there.
Yamauchi's last 4 victories have all come via submission. Very tenacious and looking for the tap out here in round 1.
And won't let Piccolotti, but look at Piccolotti's face. Very calm, unperturbed, more of an old school kind of style.
And by the way, 3 of those last 4 submission victories have come in the opening round.
That's when submissions are easiest. Everybody's dry, you can catch a guy by surprise.
Piccolotti was coming off the best win of his young career
against Brandon Gertz at Bellator 165. He was in fact supposed to face Brent Primus earlier this year. Injury kept him on the sideline. Primus went on to shock Michael Chandler at Bellator NYC to become Bellator lightweight champion.
He said that did a lot for my confidence. He goes, I think I'm better than Primus, and Primus is the champion. I'm right up there with him. I'm sure Brent Primus has something to say about that.
Yamauchi entering this fight, one submission win away from joining Marcin Held atop the Bellator all-time list. His 5 wins by submission under the Bellator banner currently have him tied with Michael Chandler and Toby Imada. Under 2 minutes left in the round.
Look at that. Beautiful job taking the back.
Piccolotti wearing Yamauchi like a backpack, and now Yamauchi looking to sink in his patented rear naked choke.
I think he's got it. It is tight. We're done.
And for the 12th time in his career, Yamauchi with a rear naked choke victory, sending Piccolotti to, well, his first loss. Piccolotti taking an L in his 10th pro fight.
Here we go. Southpaw against southpaw. Blue gloves for Darren Krukshenk, red gloves for Goiti Yamauchi.
And if you're looking at this fight, who has an advantage? There is no doubt that Goiti has the advantage. If this fight hits the ground, wrestling is a big part of Darren Crukshenk's game, but his stand-up is dynamic, and on the feet, he's the guy that has the advantage.
Goiti Yamauchi, 10 victories inside the Bellator cage, coming off the submission win over Syed Awad, the first to submit Syed Awad in 3,100 days. Verbal tap back at Pachanga in October.
You think about that armbar that he put on, the way that Goiti applied that armbar, it was the twist of the arm also. He's so knowledgeable about how to do little tiny things to increase the pressure, make the technique work, and he does it flawlessly, especially with his rear naked choke.
Black belt in Taekwondo, Darren Krukshenk has trained under his father for years. He said, my dad Dean is still there every day, and Darren really has an appreciation for his father's involvement and his father, John, pushing him towards stardom at the right time.
Absolutely. Beautiful spinning back fist attempt, or spinning back elbow by Krukshenk, but you saw what Goiti did to take and crush that space, make it so it's not effective, and now he's in a position to get the back of Darren Krukshenk. This is not a good place for Darren to be in this fight.
Peel him off. Keep your chin tucked. Keep your chin tucked to peel him off. Turn into him. Turn into him. Let that cage peel him off.
Darren at this point really needs to just be in control of the hands, be calm, think about where the hands are at right now.
Yep, keep turning them. Keep turning the whole time.
Do not allow Goiti to start to close those hands in a seatbelt position or anything, which is going to make him feel like now both the hands go up and then the legs are going to come in and he's going to start to have position on his back.
Goiti Yamauchi, #1 in Bellator history with 7 wins by submission. 4-way tie between Michael Chandler tonight in the co-main event, Alima Leigh McFarland, Neiman Gracie, and Marcin Held. They have scored 6 victories by submission.
And what you're seeing with Darren, I mean, this looks like, well, they're doing another. Goiti is waiting for Darren to make a mistake. Just pushed off of the fence with his foot, very smart in getting Darren away from it where Darren can use it to peel him off. Darren needs to be very careful in this position. This fight hitting the ground at this time with 2 minutes left in this round is not a good position for Darren Krukshenk to be in.
You hear the corner talking about wrist control. Krukshenk trying to use that defensively 3 minutes into round #1.
Yeah, it's getting bad right now. This is where Goiti is outstanding. The rear naked choke is his key.
And it's all over! Goiti Yamauchi by rear naked choke. Here we go. Red gloves for Syed Awad. Blue gloves for Goiti Yamauchi. Syed Awad said Goiti is like Lyoto Machida with slick jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he's very, very similar. And the one thing when you're watching Goiti is watch how relaxed, how calm he is during the fight.
what you want to see out of Syed is he's got to push Goiti towards that cage. Make his back be on it so he doesn't have a lot of room to move.
And he's also, like Lyoto, a man who was born in Japan and grew up in Brazil. Yamauchi tied, a five-way tie, in fact, for first all-time with 6 submission finishes. One of those he is tied with, we just interviewed, Alima Lay McFarland. Ty Awad was a bit angry, if you will. Not rude, but he had a little edge to him when we visited earlier. Oh, it was a big right hand in the week. You see we have bonus coverage coming on the Bellator app and the zone. Takedown for Syed Awad. And I used the word post-limbs in our prelims, so we're going to go hashtag post-limbs still after our main card on Paramount Network.
Syed needs to be very careful when he's on the ground here. This is what makes Goiti so good.
Has not been submitted in 8 years plus, John.
And that arm is tight.
It is all over! Just like that! Goiti Yamauchi, the first to submit Syed Awad since 2011.
You ready? Let's get it up.
Couture said it took a couple months to get back into sparring effectively. He was so gun-shy after that Patricky Pitbull knockout.
Was that an eye-opening, pseudo-troubling statement?
Yeah, for sure. This is a guy who's never that comfortable on feet anyway. Not a guy who came in with a lot of confidence in his striking before.
At my best, says Ryan Couture, grinding in the clinch, and that's where he begins. But Goiti is so dangerous on the ground.
And they're just worlds apart on the ground. I mean, it's not just a matter of their submission skills, but the way they get to it. Ryan Couture grinds you down. Goiti Yamauchi goes for something crazy you didn't see coming.
You used the expression quite a bit. Wrestler's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, wrestler's jiu-jitsu, for sure. They put so much pressure on you, you do something dumb. Trying to lock up the arm. Trying to get the arm. Gonna end it early. He got it. No comparison on the ground.
Ryan Couture got him in the clinch where he wanted him, but he put him on the ground where Goiti wanted him.
Round number 1. Our fight clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, and there is a big takedown from Musa Oliver to start.
The problem is Yamauchi has an outstanding ground game. 14 wins, 12 submissions. What's that tell you, Sean?
Musa Toliver, the American, he's in the blue trunks. Goiti Yamauchi, born in Japan, moved to Brazil at the age of 3, considers himself Brazilian.
Setting up the omoplata now. Trying to isolate that right arm. Toliver's got to be very careful here. He's in omoplata position. He's got to sit up. It's very hard to finish in MMA.
Yamauchi in the black trunks and looking for that omoplata.
He's got to sit out and get distance away from Toliver. That really puts strain on the shoulder.
Toliver trying to turn out a danger, almost has it.
He's preventing the roll. That's tight, Sean. That is very tight.
Yamauchi now looking, rear naked choke finish, and he gets it just like that. The 9th win by rear naked choke submission of his career. Now 15-1 for the 20-year-old.
Man, beautiful transition. Omoplata to rear naked choke.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Francis Ngannou. Subscribe now.